Hey there, everybody, and welcome to this Tuesday edition of OutKick Bets. I am your host, Kayla Canarum. My co-host is over there in Alabama, Mr. Arky Shea. Arky, how's your Tuesday so far?
It's Game 6 of the World Series day. We got Monday Night Football to talk about and a whole bunch of money to be made, 2K. I'm really excited. I kind of wake up like ready to kick some major tail, especially gain some money by doing it. And today, no different. I'm excited. How are you?
Well, Monday Night Football kind of threw me a little bit. But yes, we've got Monday Night Football, monkeys, money. It's all happening today. But Monday Night Football is where we're going to start with a bet last night, a play on about last night. So we're going to see how we did. I didn't fare too well, to be honest. Chiefs 20, Giants 17. I had KC minus 10.5. I also had Patrick Mahomes over 302.5. Arky, I don't know what's going on with my Chiefs. We are not gelling. We are not clicking. We just look off. Travis Kelce was pretty quiet on the night, only had 4 receptions for 27 yards. Tyreek Hill was the main target with 12 receptions for 94 yards. I don't know what's happening. We just ran the ball a lot more. We don't look good. We have the hardest remaining schedule, so that's not great. Patrick just looks frantic in the pocket. He's just running everywhere. Honestly, I think he has PTSD from the Super Bowl. We haven't looked good all season. I don't know what the fix is. The turnovers were better last night, I guess. We still had a few, but what did you think? How did you do? I'm not a happy Chiefs fan right now. I'm a little worried.
You shouldn't be happy because that was a dog of a game for Kansas City. Look, we talked about it on the show yesterday. I thought that if there was going to be any game that Kansas City had a get-right opportunity with, it was probably going to be at home, an extra day of rest, against the New York Giants, who were literally average at best in any statistical category. Coming into last night, Daniel Jones had 5, that many touchdown passes. That's it. And he hasn't missed 6 games of the season. He's played. So that's awful. And he had 2 last night against Kansas City. And you're right, Patrick Mahomes throws an interception like inside the 5-yard line to start the game. It's his 7th straight game with an INT. The Chiefs had, I think, like 12 penalties in that game, which they have been penalized a lot in the past. But they've had a much better offense to sort of be able to combat that. They're turning the ball over a lot. I had Kansas City minus 10. I bought the half a point just as a but I told you I didn't love the number, and I knew it. I knew not to trust Kansas City this season, so I am out. I am done. I am out, Kansas City. You will steal no more of my money this year.
I think I'm right there with you. They have let me down too many times this season. I don't feel good about the bets I am making. They've got Packers at home next weekend and a tough schedule from there on out. So I don't think I'm going to be doing it either. Too scary. I hope they turn it around, but this is who we seem to be right now. So I thought for sure on, Monday Night Football at Arrowhead, they would get it done against the Giants, and they barely squeaked it out. So I'm not feeling confident at all.
I was going to say, two field goals in the second half. Two field goals.
No. Unacceptable when you have the last 3 seasons that we've had. So I don't know what the problem is. I hope they fix it. We'll see. Not holding my breath here, though. We're going to move on to something else that went on during Monday night. I was obviously locked in on the Chiefs game. I'm on Twitter. I'm scrolling around. I see something about a monkey, but I was too invested in the Chiefs to investigate. I then got a text from you, and you were like, hey, check this story out. And I actually wrote back, and I'm like, this isn't real, right? And you were like, oh, no, it's real. And then I see that it's trending and go through all the tweets. Okay, Arky, so break it all down for us. What is happening with a monkey and a football coach in Texas?
This is great. This is the epitome of why we do a show like this. I mean, there's the sports betting aspect, and then there's things like this. So Jeff Banks is a former assistant at the University of Alabama under Nick Saban. He's a current special teams coach with the Texas Longhorns. He played at Washington State under Mike Price, which is a great story I should tell you about sometime. He played under him, and now since Washington State is looking for a brand new head coach, he's sort of kind of a shoo-in. He's a perfect fit. He's a great recruiter, all great. So last night while we're watching the Chiefs steal my money, this news starts bubbling up that there was a monkey incident that happened in Texas. And you start digging and digging and digging. And you find out the story is that Jeff Banks, the special teams coach of Texas, has a new girlfriend who is a former Jerry Springer appearing pole dancer with a pet monkey as a part of her act.
Of course.
Having now that pet monkey attack children on Halloween evening. It's amazing. Okay, so I shouldn't imply that Jeff Banks tried to make the monkey do that. But what happened was, Halloween night, they had set up a maze for children at their house to be able to get candy. And apparently the monkey was on a different side of the property, but a kid got loose and the monkey got loose. And that there was an incident on Halloween night where a child was bit by a monkey of the girlfriend of the Texas special teams special teams coach. It is a phenomenal story, and it's so college football. It is so weird. It's so drama. It's so amazing. And to find out all of this while I'm just watching a Kansas City dog game, it's the best thing ever. It's the best thing ever.
Did not see that coming for my Monday night. First of all, is the child okay? That's probably the most important thing here.
It's interesting that the way that the folks found out, the way that the pole assassin, which is her nickname, it's her stage name. The way she found out was because a nearby doctor, I think it was a neighbor, said he had to treat a small child with a bite, which is another great wrinkle to the story.
This reminds me when Marcel was a bad monkey and then had to go to the New York Zoo.
Yes. Well,
Friends, anyone?
Yes, absolutely. I've seen every episode a couple of times, all 10 seasons.
You and me both, Fred.
What's weird is that the pole assassin's monkey may be not long for her ownership anymore, because she immediately deleted all of her social media once she started explaining some things. She even had like a video tutorial of how she had the cage set up, and she tried to explain it all away, and then the internet basically was trying to find her and to say, what's up with the monkey thing? And she said, maybe I've said too much.
Well, it was brought up in our pre-show meeting that monkeys are illegal to own, yes? Like, that is not allowed?
I'm not sure about the jurisdiction, so she may be trying to hide from the po-po right now.
That is a great point. Well, that's going to do it for our monkey talk today, but stay tuned. Who knows what's going to happen next? Let's move on to our game of the day, World Series Game 6, Arky's Atlanta Braves taking on the Houston Astros. Arky, how are you feeling right now, by the way? Are you nervous? Are they going to get done tonight? Do we think we'll have a Game 7 like I have been hoping for? What are your thoughts before we get into the numbers?
Nervous is an understatement. I haven't eaten in about 3 days, it feels like. You can't tell it, but definitely I used to be bigger. I'm a little nervous, but I'm also comforted by the fact that Game 6 got a day of rest for the Braves, arm barn, as we learned from PETA, to get ready for this next stretch run. Now, they'll have Max Fried on the mound, one of their ace starters, Ian Anderson in Game 7, if they need him, and he's been phenomenal these playoffs, and last year's playoffs too, for that matter. Max Fried has been shelled in his last 2 outings. He's given up 11 runs in the last 2 outings, and that's bad.
That's not great. No. All right. So
I just feel like those are outliers. So he had only given up 10 runs in his previous 14 outings combined. So I think the Braves have a real good shot here. I don't bet on my team because, I don't like jinxing my team. But I might bet around them here in a minute because I don't think we're going to see the same Max Fried we've seen in the last 2 outings.
That's fair. All right. Really quick, the numbers go as follows. They are all according to FanDuel Sportsbook. We've got Atlanta, Houston, plus minus 1.5 run line. Houston plus 146, Atlanta minus 178. Atlanta plus 108 money line, Houston minus 126 with a total of 8.5. Arky, I do have a fun fact that might help calm your nerves a bit. Teams who have taken a 3-1 lead in the World Series have gone on to win the title 40 of 46 times in history. So that is on your side, my friend, at least.
Thank you. Thank you a little bit. It helps a little.
Okay, well, little betting trends. The Astros have been the money line favorite in 22 of Garcia's starts this season. They've gone 13-9 in those matchups. Astros are 82-53 in games they were favored on the money line. Over the past 10 games, Atlanta has been the underdog twice and split those games 1-1. So I don't think I'm going to touch the run line here at all. What I am going to do is take the over of 8.5. They've only gone over twice in the series. I don't feel great about it, but I don't know. Regardless, I think I'm taking the over here because I think all is on the line. These teams are going to be playing their hearts out. So give me the over 8.5.
So Luis Garcia is coming up for the Astros to start the game at least, and he had a really good outing, even though I think it was only 3 2/3. And that's all he sort of needed from him to start the game tonight against Max Fried. And I said I think it's an outlier for what we saw from Max Fried because, again, only 10 runs in his last 14 appearances before the last two. And that included a couple postseason appearances, including Milwaukee and the Dodgers, the first time around against the Dodgers. I'm actually going to go opposite with you. I like that to be such an outlier. This is going to be a tight game. I like the under 8.5. I like the under 8.5 tonight. I won't play the run line, as you say. I won't play the money line. I won't pick the Braves to win, even though I want them to. I'm going to go with the under tonight. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game, and I think it's one of those games that the Braves are just going to have to eke out every single thing because the Braves can't have anything nice to them happen easily.
All right, game on. You're taking under, I'm taking over.
Gotcha.
We'll see what happens. All right. Moving on to our spotlight matchup of the game, we are headed to a little Maction action. Miami, Ohio, 4-4, first in the MAC East. At Ohio, 1-7. The Redhawks, the Bobcats. Here are the lines for that. Miami, Ohio, -6.5. Money line -290. Ohio +225 with a total of 54.5. Arky, how you playing this Maction action tonight? Can never say that
First
enough.
of all, thank God it's back, right? They're the originators of the not normal football game to have it on Tuesday nights.
Tuesday night, yeah.
Chef's kiss. So Ohio's not very good, right? Let's just be honest. I mean, 1-7 is clearly
Right.
with the record. I think they're 113th in scoring offense, 114th in yards that they get per game. They're not a very, very good team at all. But neither really is Ball State when you sort of look at the numbers, right? Ball State is, sorry, Miami of Ohio.
Right.
I'm sorry. Miami of Ohio is not that great when it comes to the numbers either. But in their defense, they're in the top 50 in passing yards. Okay, they are they're 50th, but they're in the top 50. It counts. They are in the top 50 for passing yards. So I like them a little better than I like Miami of Ohio, even though it's the Tuesday road game action. I'm staying away from the total, even though I think that thing's probably going to go under. I'm going to go with Miami of Ohio to cover, since it's the tightest game of all the action. It's the closest spread. I'm going to say Miami of Ohio goes to Ohio and wins by a touchdown at least. So -6.5, that's where I'm taking it.
I'm going opposite of you, I think. Well, first of all, quarterback A.J. Mayer for the Redhawks. I still thought it was Brett Gabbert, little brother of Blaine Gabbert, former quarterback at Mizzou, current backup to Tom Brady. It is not, though. I'm not super locked in on Miami, Ohio football, but we are tonight. Redhawks, they've got Curtis Rourke throwing the pigskin for the Bobcats. Miami, Ohio are 2-4 against the spread in their last 6, and the total has gone under in 5 of their last 6 games. Ohio is 4-8 against the spread in their last 12 games, and they have gone under in 5 of their last 5 games. So I'm taking the under, just because of everything I just said. Both of these teams playing under. I don't know. I think Ohio's going to play them closer than we think. So I think I'm going to take them plus 6.5.
This is an Ohio team that lost by 20 to Syracuse when Syracuse wasn't that very good at the beginning of the season. They lost to, I think it's Duquesne is how you pronounce it, an FCS program in their second game of the season. They've been really, really bad at times. They've kept a couple of games close inside the conference, so I could kind of see that. But if I'm going to play the numbers, I feel like I'm going to trust a little bit better of an offense than I am going to trust a really bad defense in what Miami of Ohio has. So, Ohio has. Miami of Ohio is where I'm going to go. I'm going to go Red Hawk. Go Red Hawks for the -6.5.
Too many Ohio's happening.
A lot of central of the country. It's just a lot of stuff happening in that one very, very big state.
All right, I like it. It is now time for a little segment we like to call Futures Island. We're going to take a look at the Heisman Trophy futures odds. These have shuffled around since last week. Starting with Bryce Young. Last week, plus 125. Today, he is plus 150. Matt Corral was plus 325, now is plus 600. CJ Stroud was plus 450, now plus 350. Kenny Pickett was plus 900, now he is plus 3,000. So just looking at those top four, Arky, what are your thoughts about these Heisman hopefuls?
It's clear that Matt Corral was very much hurt physically in the Auburn game and very much statistically speaking and on these odds by that overall performance. He ended up, I think, throwing an interception. Maybe it was 2 in that game. So that definitely sort of brought him down a peg. Plus, he hurt his ankle in that game, and he says he's sort of going to be okay, but it's back-to-back games where he's been really banged up, and if you want to play those odds and try to trust him through the beginning of December, it's kind of hard to do with an injured quarterback. Bryce Young is sort of the guy that's just consistent. He's steady there. The quarterback at Alabama over the last several seasons is going to be near the top because he's going to be playing with some of the best players in the country. And Bill O'Brien's captaining a pretty big offense on there for the Tide, and they've been pretty good. Even in that one loss against Texas A&M, they've been pretty good unless you want to nitpick a couple of play calling things. So Bryce Young makes sense to be sort of the odds-on favorite right now. But C.J. Stroud sitting there at Ohio State, who is just quietly putting up big numbers. And when we get to the bigger games that they have at the end of the season, especially against Michigan at the end of the year, this guy's probably going to be in the top 2 if he continues his pace, at worst 3 as far as these odds. Right now, he's sitting there. I think he is, if I looked right, I think he's 4th in the 3rd in the total odds. And I think he's going to probably move up just a little bit more. But you could tell that there's big money and big performances coming from C.J. Stroud to move that number. But can I tell you my favorite thing so far?
Tell me, hit me.
So last week I texted you about these Heisman future odds, and I said there's someone you need to pay attention to. He's at plus 5,000. I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle a little money on him. And his name's Caleb Williams out of Oklahoma. Now, some people laughed when I suggested it to them. You did not. You were sort of intrigued, and you said, go on, do tell. And all he's quietly done is go from plus 5,000 to now plus 850. Not from the beginning of the season to now, from last week until now. Huge numbers against Texas Tech. He had the big moments against Texas where he let them back and won that game. He had even though the Kansas game was kind of tricky and weird, right, that they had to come back to be able to win that game, he had the big Heisman Right.
Wasn't pretty.
He had the big moment where he stole the ball from his running back, and he got the first down at the end of the game to sort of cement the deal, and they ended up scoring a touchdown a few minutes after that. So he's had 3 starts, plus the Texas game when he came in the second quarter. He's going to have more opportunities to keep putting up numbers. So I feel kind of like a small, large genius for getting on the plus 5,000 train, because now he's plus 850. You can't get those plus 5,000 odds anymore. Caleb Williams quietly going to be there at the end of the year, probably in New York.
I'm with you. I agree. I mean, like you said, only 3 starts came in the second quarter against Texas. Already has 1,189 yards, 14 touchdowns. For reference, Bryce Young has 2,453 yards with 26 touchdowns. So keep a lookout on for Caleb Williams, because he's coming for you. He's coming for that Heisman.
Let me say something that I think some of us in this in this world understand, that there is a real thing called Bama fatigue. And when you see Alabama winning all of the awards or winning all of the games for the most part, you sort of kind of get tired of it. And if you don't want to give Bryce Young, who's a second year at Alabama, if you don't want to give him because he's done nothing wrong to not earn the award, right? Like he's been very good the whole season. If you wanted to make a case for most valuable player and Heisman Trophy, Caleb Williams has come in, and he's been a superstar ever since he's been in. He changed the fortune of that team. If Caleb Williams is starting against Tulane, they're not struggling to hold on to beat Tulane. Like, this team may have blown out Texas from the beginning if Caleb Williams is the starting quarterback. So it's really sort of fascinating to watch what happens if the numbers start to go up for Caleb Williams, because they'll have a chance to. Whether you try to go for best story or just overall performance or a guy who's giving you no reason not to vote for him in Bryce Young, because I think Matt Corral is just going to dump lower and lower in the odds. And I think your final three
Yeah.
are going to be Caleb Williams, C.J. Stroud, and Bryce Young. And if you want to make the case for Caleb Williams, because he's a better story and he's been the most valuable player, you're not wrong. You just missed a couple of games to get stats up.
You heard it here first, folks. Last week when we were texting, I was team Matt Corral, but, can't do it playing hurt. So I'm all aboard the Caleb Williams train. Let's make it interesting.
Let's live dangerously, right? Like plus 125. See, the thing about the futures is, like, I want big bang for my buck. That's why I go play the futures. And if I'm going to have my money tied up for a certain amount of time, like for now, from the beginning November 2nd till December the 8th or whenever the Heisman Trophy ceremony is, like, I want a big possible bank. Plus 125 or plus 150 doesn't do it for me. I can get that any single Saturday on a game. But plus 5,000 last week or even plus 850 this week, I mean, that now it's kind of worth the investment.
I agree. All right, we're going to keep an eye on this. We'll come back to it throughout the weeks to come. But now it's time to move on to our quick hitters of the day. Obviously, we cover our big games here, but we also want to touch on some games in the NBA and the NHL that we will also be betting. So, Arky, hit us with your first quick hitter of the day.
I alluded to them mistakenly earlier when I talked about Miami of Ohio at Ohio. Ball State is also in some action tonight. They are going to Akron, and I won't mince words with you guys. Akron's terrible. Akron is amongst the worst teams in all of college football, and it shows. But the number here is at 19.5 for Ball State in their favor, and the total is 57.5. The number scares me on a Tuesday to give that kind of number to any kind of team, especially a team on the road, to give them 3 touchdowns. Not impossible, just not where I'm going to place my money. I'm going to pay attention to the number at 57.5 over at FanDuel. If I could get it at 58, or even take it at the 57.5, I feel pretty good about this game. Listen, both of these teams only sort of score when the other team is good at scoring. That's not going to be the case in this game. These two teams do not score very much, especially against teams that aren't very good at scoring. And Akron, to be completely honest with you, they haven't had a game where the game total's gone over 55 since at the end of September when Ohio State put 59 on them by themselves. So, that was a rough night. That was a rough night for them. But you expect that if you're Akron and you're going to the Horseshoe and you're doing the big in-state rivalry of Akron and Ohio State. So I'm going to play the under 57.5 because I like to white knuckle it. And Maction's been known for high-scoring games, but not this year. Surprisingly, they are the second lowest conference as far as getting the totals to go over. So let's go Maction, let's go Ball State, and let's go under 57.5.
I like it. I'm going over to the NBA. Pelicans at Suns. Pelicans are 1-6. Suns are 2-3. New Orleans plus minus 12 with a total of 215. I feel like this one isn't as easy to pick as you might think it is at first glance. A few injuries to note. Zion Williamson still out for the Pels, while Brandon Ingram is day-to-day. For the Suns, DeAndre Ayton is day-to-day. Cameron Payne is out. Now for betting trends. NOLA is 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games, while the Suns are 1-8 in their last 9. I originally liked the Suns covering here, but these stats are making me kind of change my mind. So even though they've only had 1 win so far this season, I'm taking New Orleans plus 12. Let's make it fun. And hoping they at least play it close.
Well,
so what are you doing in your next quick hitter?
I'll just say this. I feel if I'm just going weight-wise, I feel like I could play the same position that Zion's playing right now. That boy's thick right now. He is thick with 3 C's. Boy, that guy has gotten into some gumbo. And listen, I realize he's had the foot surgery and he's been sort of delayed. He's a thick guy. He's a thick one right now. So
I feel like I could play defense for the Chiefs right now, honestly. So there we go.
It is thick guy season, right? Like if you want yourself a thick guy during the cool fall season, now's the time to get you a Zion or an Arky Shea. Even though I'm married, you can still you can fantasize, ladies. The 3 of you that may be watching right now.
What just happened?
I put myself out there. I'm a sex candy. I'm sex
That's what
candy,
I thought.
baby. I'm going.
No lacking confidence here.
I'm going to the NBA myself, where the Heat are going to go take on the Mavericks. This is good stuff. The Mavericks side, the total is 212, and the Heat are a 2.5-point favorite going into Dallas. And I really like this game because the Heat right now are statistically the number one defense in the NBA. They've been going back and forth with Denver every other night, so anytime you wake up, the statistics probably going to change that early in the season. But they have been super good defensively. You know who's also been good defensively? Surprisingly, the Mavericks. They're 7th in the league in points allowed per game, and they're way, way, way at the bottom when it comes to points scored per game. They're 28th in the league. The Miami Heat have gone under in all 6 of their games. The Mavericks have gone under in all 6 of their games so far. The Heat under in 4 of their 6 games. Screw the spread tonight. Let's go with the under 212. Listen, we're living dangerous with the unders tonight. So let's white knuckle from 6 p.m. until 2 in the morning. Let's go all the way, and let's go under 212 for the Mavericks and the Heat tonight.
I love it. I'm headed over to the NHL for my last quick hitter. Vegas at Toronto. Puck line, Vegas minus 188, Toronto plus 152, but I'm not even looking at that. I'm looking at the totals here, which is 6. Both these teams are coming off winning streaks. The last 2 games for each team was the difference of one goal. Vegas total has gone under in 4 of their last 6. The total has also gone under in 4 of Vegas's last 6 games played on a Tuesday. Weird. That's just a fun fact. On the other side, the total has gone under in 8 of Toronto's last 11 games. It has also gone under in 4 of their last 6 games at home. So I'm just going to take the under here at 6. It's also a pretty even matchup. So when that happens, I feel like they battle it out a lot more, not as high scoring of a game. So give me the under in Vegas at Toronto, Arky.
People are going to realize at some point that unders aren't nearly as fun to root for, but they're really profitable.
I know.
Really, really profitable. Yeah.
Playing it safe. That's true. All right, in our final segment of the day, like we said, it is Tuesday. We do have football tonight, but we are also looking ahead to the weekend and our college football and NFL games. So, Arky, what game are you looking forward to this weekend?
Got a bit of a fishy smell to it, and it's
Ew.
Exactly. So it's Mississippi State going on the road to play Arkansas, who has had essentially a week off to get ready for the Bulldogs. The Razorbacks are 4.5-point favorites at home, and it's odd to sort of think that because I was down on Mississippi State early and in the middle and most recently, but they've done nothing to not impress me with the wins that they've gotten, how they've done it, and now that they did it against a really good team in Kentucky, and they manhandled Kentucky in that game, and Will Rogers completed, I think, 36 of 39 passes in that game. He was really, really, really good for Mike Leach. The 4.5 number, I don't like it. Something's up with that number, so I think we need to be paying attention to that by the time we get to Saturday, because if that number even creeps a little bit higher, we may be playing a hammer down throw on Mississippi State this weekend.
Ooh, okay. Well, this line is not fishy. I'm going LSU at Alabama. Obviously, this isn't a game that, probably isn't going to throw us any surprises, but it's also the game that everyone looks forward to, the Bama-LSU rivalry. So right now, the spread is 28.5, obviously favoring Alabama, while the total is 66.5. Arky, can you guess what the lowest amount of points Bama has scored in this season is? The lowest amount of points they've scored this season.
This really feels like a number. Is it 31?
Did you just know that off the top of your head?
They played and lost. That was my guess. So.
I was like, what? How did you know that? Yes, 31 is the lowest points that Bama has scored this season. LSU's is 17. I feel like this one is tough because when these two teams come together, anything can happen. Anything beside LSU winning, but I don't know. I feel like it's the spread is a big number. So I'm going to take LSU plus 28.5. I just think they're going to play it closer than that. While we all know Bama is a scoring machine, LSU's 4 losses. The highest number in points they've put up is 27, and that wasn't against Bama. So give me the under here also, 66.5. Even though I don't feel super confident about either of my decisions, that's what I'm doing here.
That number, it's hard to figure. Alabama may want to enact the mercy rule against LSU because I think they're really going to want to put it on. I think they're going to really want to put it on them. You may be right on the plus 28.5 because it's such a huge rivalry game. But the under may be a good play. It just may be 55 3. Yeah, who knows?
Okay,
Who knows?
that's fair. That's fair. Which game do you think will be more of a bloodbath? Mizzou at number 1 Georgia or LSU at number 3 Bama?
Probably LSU Bama, to be honest with you. Yeah.
You think?
Georgia's going to slowly choke the life out of Missouri, while Alabama's going to go minute 1. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Alabama wants this one bad. They want it bad.
All right, fair enough. There you have it, folks. That is going to do it for us today here on OutKick Bets. I am Kayla Canarum. Again, that is Arky Shea. Don't forget to make your bets at FanDuel.com/OutKick. Best of luck in your betting, friends. We'll be back tomorrow with an all-new show. Join us then.